Deon Price, This Youth Generation. In honor of African American history, we wanted to present some brilliant scientists and inventors to share and enlighten on respecting the contributions of African Americans and black people in general. The first lesson in this series should bring out the fact that you cannot start black history from slavery. Many do this erroneously. African American culture and contributions did not start from slavery. But you have to go back to what many believe is the beginning of civilization in Egypt, what is coincidentally in Africa. With European influence, who have presented a fallacious representation of the world's history, have separated Egypt from Africa. Many still do not believe, unless you look at an actual geographic map, people still don't realize that Egypt is Africa, because even to this day, you consider Egypt separate from Africa, but it is in North Africa, which means these starters of civilizations who are given credit for science, astrology, agricultural, all of their contributions to the world, it is oftentimes overlooked that these were Africans. Yes, Egypt is in Africa. So to start black history, you must start with the contributions of Egyptians who were Africans. Our first contribution to African American history for the month is honoring the great George Washington Carver. A member of the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, we often highlight him. George Washington Carver was one of the greatest cultivators of land. He was a botanist, he was a chemist, he was an agriculturist. Someone often also calls him the greatest farmer. Yet he was much more than farming. He developed his love for plant life by being close to his mother, and internally in their domestic work is where he developed his skill and his desire to want to learn more about plants. Afterwards, he self-educated himself, and he eventually got educated, a formal education in college, and he did most of his contributions on the great and historical campus of Tuskegee University, where he stayed for years developing up to 200 products from the plant, specifically 200 products from the potato, sweet potato, and another 200 products or so, close to 300 products from the peanut. To this day, we can give credit to the great and honorable George Washington Carver for his many contributions to practical plant life as an agriculturist, a chemist, and a botanist. And when I share this image to many of our youth, they're so disconnected. They actually thought when I showed them this image, I said, who is this? What do you think he's invented? What I actually got was, who is this? Is he getting high? No, he's not getting high. Did he start the first meth lab? No, he's not starting. This is the actual responses I got when I presented this to some of today's generation of youth. That's why we're here, to reset, reorganize, and re-educate today's generation who are disconnected from the true history and contributions of African American. And mainly because the European omitted many of the contributions from African American, and the history has been tainted. George Washington Carver, the most brilliant scientist and agriculturalist and chemist in our time, in a generation. We highlight him quite often as one of African American history's greatest contributors to science. And no, he wasn't getting high, and no, he did not start the first meth lab. Wake up, people.